We're back to the Daily Drop. Okay, we're talking Lex Cryptographia. We need to get into the dystopian version of it, though, right? Because it really, once I heard about it, I read about it, I was like, is this real? Because it really just seems like an episode of Black Mirror, right? This
Oh
Lex
yeah.
Cryptographia thing could go really wrong. Like, if you've got an entire legal system essentially based on computers with no human beings, that's really what we're talking about. Um, it's not hard to see how that could transmogrify into a dystopian version of itself.
I mean, yeah, you have these ideas where basically contracts are enforcing contracts. So let's say you don't pay your lease of your flat, and then you can't enter anymore because you can't. The key lock just does no longer work. And some of these aspects you already have. For example, you might have a car, you have a lease, you don't pay your, monthly payments, and then your car doesn't start anymore. In a lot of countries now, it's illegal to do that because there needs to be due process, or we believe generally that there needs to be due process. Um, I, however, believe in a polycentric future, and I also believe there will always be, in the end, some form of human involvement, even if it's just for the most complex disputes and for the most high value disputes. There won't be just one smart contract that rules us all or something, I think. Because there's so many, it will be modular. You'll have more options in choosing your jurisdiction.
It's interesting, though. It is a debate, though, right? Because if you think about crypto, they're talking about FTX, right? The FTX disaster, and how if there were aspects that use DeFi, right, instead of them acquiring more leverage, right, more debt, if it was DeFi, they would have just been liquefied, right? And so there is an inherent efficiency for kind of doing things wrong, right? It's almost like you break the law, go to jail or be punished, or at least it stops you from, committing more crimes. So that's the other side of it too, right? The problem is that there's not really any human being to interpret it. But again, if you look at something like the George Floyd incident, I mean, human beings are not always making, the kind and moral decisions.
No, so but the question is whether the humans, you would probably say that they fail because of emotions and because of their discretionary power, which they can enforce discretionarily. So they don't like the person, they're biased, they're racist, so they enforce a different way.
Right.
I think, as we have seen, was in the last several years on DeFi, is that computers can be corrupted too, and it's mainly hacks and cyber attacks.
Right,
So
that's a question I have, right? So what happens if a smart contract is programmed maliciously on purpose?
So I think with this whole cryptographia sphere developing, what you're going to get is that these kind of contracts are going to be before a panel of arbitrators that would assess the buggy code. And that panel of arbitrators would probably be a decentralized on-chain dispute resolution forum. And these forums are already starting to be built. The question is also what you mean, what is malicious? Is it that the parties ask the contract to be drafted a certain way and it function a certain way, and then the coder did not follow the instructions? I think that would be definitely a dispute. Some more simplistic understanding of cryptographia, known as Code's law, would suggest that smart contract does what it's supposed to do. So if it does what it's supposed to do, and you find kind of a loophole to do something else, then that is the law. But we've already seen with the DAO hack many years ago that the community doesn't see it that way. I mean, they then forked the blockchain and reversed the hack. So I don't think the future of Lex Cryptographia is going to be only Code's law, because humans and coders and computers make mistakes in coding, and the complexities of a system are really hard to code into in a program. It makes us believe in numbers and the new religion of data in a way.
So Silke, Noah, you are blowing my mind. You got to come back. It's like I have so many thoughts, but we only have you for one more segment. I've got Silke Noah here on the Daily Drop.